In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Good morning, friends. I am cruising with Christ to Varagamba today. Let's get on to that side. As you know, Varagamba had lots of rain. So myself and a friend of mine going to see that dam, how it looks like. It's such a gorgeous day. I can't afford to lose this. So today, my dear friends, I would like to talk to you about Catholic parenting as I ride along. First of all, I would like to appreciate all the parents who are bringing up the children in a very Catholic way. It is a struggle, it is a very difficult thing, but it's all worth it. What a gorgeous day. Look at the number of people here at the river going for a walk and having little picnics. There's some work going on here along the Nepean River, as you can see. And lots of cars. And people have been missing like this gorgeous sunny day. So today the sun is out, so everybody's out as well. Can be very depressing when you don't see the sun for days together. Rain is good, but not too much. Ice cream. Look at that, river is almost full still. Catholic marriage has got two properties. One, welfare of the spouses. The second property is procreation and upbringing of the children. Now both have to be honored in any marriage, Catholic marriage, then only it is a marriage. So first thing comes welfare of the spouses. You look after each other, you love each other, you share with one another, you care for one another, you give yourself to one another. There is a huge element of sacrifice involved in it. It's not like a matter of convenience, Sometimes, unfortunately, people look at marriage as a matter of convenience. You pay the bills, I will do this. That's not marriage. Well, that's part of marriage, it could be, but then it's much more than that. If we limit everything to a matter of convenience, oh, look at the potholes, oh my God. If you look at marriage as a matter of convenience, that is why it falls apart. Because one stops being productive, the other one looks at the one who is not productive as a burden. And then marriage is done. So, marriage cannot be a marriage of convenience. It's not a matter of convenience. It is a sacrament. No civilization, no ruler or no king or emperor who founded marriage. Marriage is founded by God. That's the very first sacrament. And in the marriage we see lots of elements of faith, as Christ gave himself and sacrificed himself for his church, the bride. So too the man and woman should, to a certain extent, should sacrifice themselves for the others. Sacrifice doesn't mean you go and kill yourself. That is not the sacrifice. There are small things that you give up, small things that you give into. You forgive and forget. You let go. You forgive and you sacrifice and you share. These are the things that are part of marriage, that makes marriage complete. And marriage is also expression of God's love for one another. I will talk separately on relationships and how a marriage should be. But today mainly I want to talk to you about Catholic parenting. So the second property of the marriage is procreation and upbringing of the children. Suppose if a couple says, well, we want to get married but we don't want to have children, the priest can't proceed with that marriage because it is not a sacrament marriage. But certainly the marriage should not be focused only towards children. No, it's part of it. There are couples who cannot have children for one reason or the other, but the intention is there of having a child. That itself will suffice. So procreation and upbringing of the children, look at the scriptures. God's mandate for the first parents was be fruitful and multiply. He didn't say, well, think about having a child or two. No, be fruitful and multiply. Everything that God has created should have that focus towards that. That is why we see in nature animals or birds or even plants. No tree restricts itself. Well, it can't say, well, okay, I will reproduce this many seeds only, so that only this many trees are there in the world. No. They are fruitful and multiply. In that way, you can see they are fulfilling God's will for them. Right? Whereas when it comes to people, human beings, we think twice of having children. God has made use of the couple, the husband and wife, to bring a new human being into the world. And that new human being carries the image and likeness of God. That's very important thing. You don't just bring out a child for nothing. It's not a globe of flesh that you are giving birth to. You are giving birth to image and likeness of God. Every child is created in the image and likeness of God. And God celebrates every child. That is why it is very important that the couple should realize what they are doing is they are doing on behalf of God. God makes use of the couple and shares the creative power with them. And that is why the marriage has to focus towards children as well, along with the other properties of marriage. So in this scenario, when you bring up children, now the question comes, how many children? 1, 2, 3, 4? Well, certainly you need to be responsible, but at the same time, you can't restrict. Be open to life. You can't restrict. And there are couples I know who have many children. In this country, in Australia, you don't have any excuse not having children. Okay? You have no excuse whatsoever. Some people say, oh father, you don't know, it's hard work. Well, everything is hard work. Everything is hard work. Building a house is hard work, very hard work. Going for work every day in the morning is a hard work. Watching TV on Netflix or browsing the internet is a hard work. Why do you do it? Why do you do it? Well, this is not hard work. Nothing comes free. Whereas bringing up children, it's a beautiful thing. The hard work that is worth it. All the hard work that you put in, it's all worth it. I know there are couples who come home after a tiresome day, or at the end of the week, they come together as family, or even in the evenings. When they see their little babies, little children, you hold them close. You just forget everything, all the problems that you have. It's not like that you have your child on the pram, If I have authority, I will ban the prams. Seriously, you know why? the child needs to be close to the mother or father. That human touch should be there. I know you can't carry the child all the time, but you also cannot leave the child on the pram all the time. When you hold the baby, it's give and take. You give love for the child feels that he or she is wanted and loved. That human touch between the mom and the bub goes a long way. There are so many evidences, so many incidences wherein the child who is about to die because of the proximity with the mother, there's so many children have survived. They have come back to life. There are children who are having so many complications because of the closeness to the mother. When you hold a baby close to your heart, close to you, there is something that happens so divine. And the child can grasp that and receive that strength from the mother and survive, even if the child has got some medical complications. There are so many incidences have happened like that. So it's important that we not only tell the child, "Oh, I love you." The baby must be crying in the pram. Once I noticed, it was in the cafe. Next to me was a mother with a little baby, and the baby is in the pram, fully kind of full of harness and everything around the baby in the pram. The baby is crying. I don't know for what reason. Baby is crying. So instead of just picking up the baby and seeing what's wrong, it could be like something is biting or something is uncomfortable for the baby. Instead of picking up the baby and consoling, the mother is talking to the baby as if she's talking to an executive, some chief executive officer of some big company. "Excuse me, why are you crying?" Well, I looked at that that baby is 4 months or 5 months. If the baby can say, "Well, this is why I'm crying," the baby may not be crying there. She's talking to the baby as if she's talking to some chief executive officer of a company. "Excuse me, why are you crying?" I couldn't help but to tell that mother, "Excuse me, pick up your baby. Baby will be alright." She gave me a bad look, but she did what I said, and the baby stopped crying. Well, my dear friends, sometimes we catch the problems by the tail. There is nothing that is consoling than the baby being in the arms of a mother. And also there is nothing consoling for the mother or the father to hold the baby and your burdens go away. The baby does nothing, but the baby has the capacity, God-given capacity, to take away all your pains and sorrows and burdens and your stress and everything. That's why the baby is placed there in your family. God cannot be there. And when you hold a baby, you're holding the image of God. You want to see how God smiles? Look at the baby smiling. God teaches 2 languages to babies all over the world. You go anywhere you go, there are 2 languages that God teaches. One, a language of cry. Second, a language of smile. It is universal. You go anywhere, babies do it in the same way. Okay? And now, then we teach all other languages. English, Chinese, Tamil, everything else we teach after that. Whereas the language of cry and the language of smile are the 2 languages that God taught to all the babies. They are universal languages. They do it in the same way. And it is up to the parents to figure it out what's wrong with the baby. The babies are treasures. Treasures for the families, treasures for the church, treasures for the whole universe, the whole of humanity. Every baby that is born in the world is a reminder, powerful reminder, that God is not fed up with us human beings. So every time a baby is born, God is telling us, well, I am not fed up with you guys yet. Here it is, my image of myself. Here is my likeness. Whenever a baby is born, God is saying, well, this is yet another image of myself. So celebrate the birth of a baby. Anyway, I will talk to you separately about the evil of abortion, why it is an evil thing, and how it is offending God and offending the whole of humanity. I will talk to you in some other video. But talking about Catholic parenting, now as the child is growing up, first thing you need to do is to baptize the baby as quickly as possible. God trusted you, Dad. God trusted you, Mom, to bring that baby into the world. Now you make sure first the baby is washed off from the original sin. So baptize the baby as quickly as possible. And then choose the godparents, not because the godparent is your best friend or best mate. Don't choose that person. Choose, it could be your friends or it could be your family, but choose somebody who will help the child to grow in the faith. Okay? It is very important. It's very, very important. Well, we are in Malgova area. Look at the horses. I came the other day with my friends to a cafe. It's called The Settlers. I think it is called The Settlers, in front of the Windbourne Retreat Center. It's a nice place. It looks like some old pub, typical Aussie style pub. Here it is. So that's Windbourne Retreat Center. Here is The Settlers, just opposite. It's a nice place. Check it out. I came with my friends the other day. It was really nice. Okay, so back to our topic. Once you are baptized, you work as a team, right? You work as a team with the godparents to bring up the child in the practice of the faith. Parents need to make sure that they take the children for Mass every Sunday. Once a week, 1 hour for God. And the godparents, you look at your title. Your title is godparent. There is God there in your parenthood. And it is not about giving gifts. It is not about just being in the photographs on the day of baptism or first Holy Communion or confirmation of the child, but it is about being godparent. You bring God to child and you bring the child to God. That's your job, and the child depends upon you for it. You got to check with the parents whether they have taken the child for Mass. Pull them up. Tell them off if they have not done that. You got to tell the parents that the child, your godchild, has to be taken for Mass regularly. If the parents have not done that duty, you have every right, God-given right, to pull them up. Okay? And as a godparent, you work collaboratively with the parents in the matters of faith for the child. Teach the child on the matters of faith. Not only giving them gadgets or giving them gifts. Teach the child about God. You don't know yourself? Well, you got to equip yourself. You got to educate yourself first before you could teach. Otherwise, you will be teaching wrong things. And encourage the child to go for regular confession and everything. Parenting at home, it can be very difficult. Especially when you have children, there could be some chaos. But you know what? Many a times I have noticed parents have taught them wrong things to the children. My friend used to complain to me, "Oh, my child is swearing. He is always swearing." He was very worried that how he is swearing. Then I noticed, I was in the car with him the other day. There was one errand driver that cut him off. Guess what? He goes F this and F that with all the signs and symbols. This little fellow is sitting in the back seat. The children are very observant. Friends, the children are very observant. They do what you do. They don't do what you say. You can't get away with all this nonsense. You swear, the children swear. You speak respectfully, then you can demand respect from them. Whereas husband and wife, you're fighting with each other. Oh, look at this. They are selling honey. And so you're fighting with one another like cat and dog, and then you expect the children to be peaceful with one another. It's ridiculous. You started the war. They watched you fighting, and then they learn how to fight, and then they imitate. Oh, look at these cute lambs. Oh, not lambs. They are llamas or alpacas. I don't know what it is. I think they are llamas. Okay, so you fight with one another as husband and wife, and the same behavior will go to the children. They will think, okay, this is how we have got to fight. And all the swear words comes from the parents. Parents, you watch your tongue first, and then tell the children how to behave themselves. Okay? Be respectful to one another. Husband and wife, if you are a team, the children will not defeat you. They cannot defeat you if you are a team. Whereas if you are divided among yourselves, if you are fighting with one another, what can you expect from the children? Definitely they will do the same. So don't imagine that everything will be goody-goody at home. If you are fighting with one another, you got to sort out your differences. It doesn't mean that you hide things from them. No, well, they have got very sensitive antennas. The children have got very sensitive antennas. They can understand exactly what is happening between mom and dad. Okay? Oh, it's a nice place. I love trees. Love trees. The trees tell us that we have got to go towards God. Grow up towards God. I'll talk to you about nature on some other time. What are the things that we can learn from even a simple plant? So when you are fighting with one another, don't expect your children to be at peace. Don't expect your children to forgive each other if you don't forgive each other. You got to work as a team. There is no self. Once you get married, you said in good times and in bad, in sickness and in health, and all the days of your life, all the days, not only Saturday, Sunday, not only during the holidays, all the days. Okay? And when you do that, automatically the children also will learn. If you are a team, they will respect you. You got to decide together everything that you do. You got to communicate. What I would encourage you is that, these days the children are also very smart. They are very smart. They know how to get the things. And what you need to do is that you got to create your own language. I know one couple, they have their own language. They created a vocabulary for themselves, like in the sense, like it's not English, it's It's a vocabulary, the sense like when they talk with each other, when they talk, they know only themselves. Like, nobody can, no children can really say what the parents are talking. So it's a very unique language that they have created, and they do it in such a way the children can't follow it. They don't understand it. So anything important, they talk in that language. So it is a teamwork. So when you bring up the children, first thing, make sure that they are growing up in the fear of God. Fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. Okay? So they need to have the fear of God. Why they need to have the fear of God? It's not for any other reason, but they need to know when they have the fear of God, they wouldn't do anything wrong behind your back. You're not going to be with them all the time, where they go, what they do, the decisions, the choices they make. You're not going to be there, and you're not going to be there forever. Whereas if you have given them God, guess what? Their life will be intact. So give them the gift of God. Have them to have the fear of God, to do wrong things. They can thank God for all the good things that they do. We are approaching Varagamba Dam. Wonder what is the meaning of Varagamba. Oh, look at that baby there. Oh my God. It's such an angelic baby. I don't know. Whenever I see a baby, like, it's a little image of God sitting in the arms of the parents, my heart just takes a skip of a beat whenever I look at the baby. Jesus said very clearly, unless and until you become one of these little ones, you become like children. It's not childish. He didn't say unless you become childish. No. He said, unless you become like a little children, you will never enter into the kingdom of God. Okay, we have reached the Varagamba Dam.